Ugochukwu Omeogu, a workplace attitude expert and personal development and career coach, gives us an insight on how he took the bull by the horn while being physically challenged. It's an inspiring story of a disabled child who was not deterred by situation, people, and environment, but held on to his dreams and achieved it. Please stay tuned and be motivated.
There's what you call grand corruption, petty corruption, and systemic corruption.
Free education is the cheapest project a government can embark, unlike construction.
Small issues like lights, steady power supply. For me, that's the biggest issue.
We need to look at socio-political, economic foundations and resilience organizations for our teenagers.
Leadership is an opportunity for you to serve other people. And if you are not willing to serve, you have no business being in leadership.
My name is Ugochukwu Omeogu. My childhood was very fantastic. Okay, I was born in 1973, August, and I had polio 1 year after I was born. And well, I didn't know I had polio because I wasn't conscious of what was going on. As time passed, then I began to realize that I was working differently from everybody else. Okay, and at the time, and I found out that there has to be something to be done because I had a very high spirit. I've always wanted to do something by myself, but I had the challenge that was impeding my physical, activities. So from that point, I knew that I had to find a way to make sure that I live my life the way it should be. I'm actually an entrepreneur, an investor, a business person, and also a life coach. But most importantly, I am a creator, and that really sums it up for me. Growing up was very interesting, very fantastic. And the reason is because I realized that every human person is born with the capacity to go beyond whatever challenges they encounter in their life journey. They were born with that capacity. You just have to realize it for yourself. For me, I remember when we got home, my daddy and my mom left Aba and then went to the village, okay? And because I had polio, I couldn't go to school, trek to the venue of the school. So my brothers would wake up in the morning, they would trek to school, but I couldn't do that myself. So part of what I did is each time they wake up in the morning to go to school, I would pack my bag as well and follow them, but I would stop at the gate of my house. But my brothers and sisters, my younger brothers will continue to school, so I wouldn't go far because the distance between the school and my house was very far. So I would stay at the gate of the house, and I would stay there until they come back, and then we can come back together to the house. So I remember one day, a young man was passing by. He stopped me and said, "Young man, I see you every time here, and what are you doing at this place all the time?" I said, "I wanted to go to school." So why are you not going to school? I said, "I couldn't trek to school." So he was so, compassionate about my situation. He came into my house and talked to my daddy, and my daddy said, "Yes, that's fine," because he said to my daddy that he goes through my school every day. That means my school is on his path. So that was how I started going to school. And what I realized is anytime you are at the crossroad of your destiny, a helper will come, okay? Right there, I was so hungry to go to school that I had to follow my brothers to the gate of the house. If I had stayed inside that house, I would have gotten a helper. And what I figured out is anytime you are ready to move forward, there's always been someone out there who has been prepared to help you. But I continued to my journey in my life, and I remember someday I was driving. I was just asking questions. Why would polio happen to someone like me? I mean, all my siblings, nobody else had polio except me. So it was like God didn't like me kind of thing, you know. So I was concerned. I was asking, why me? So one day I was driving down, right in front of me on a road that was in Owerri. A car, brand new car, coming towards me had a busted tire. The tire of the car busted. The car pulled over by the side, and I was watching. It was like a movie. I was watching the car. As soon as it pulled over, the driver of the car came out of the car and went to the back of the car, then brought out the spare tire of that car from the car, and then changed the tire that was bad. And remember, this car is brand new. So something happened to me that if man, in his little wisdom, can put a brand new spare tire on a brand new car, and the spare tire was still put in the car when the car was still in the factory, which means man knew that is a possibility of the car having a flat tire, so he put a spare. You know what I found out? If man can do that for a car, don't you think that God knew there's a possibility of having polio, there's a possibility of having blindness? And if man can put spare for a car, don't you think that God has put a spare ability in any man? Should your eye fail, should your leg got broken? And that was the day my life changed. But the interesting thing was this: when the car had a flat tire and the guy pulled over, he had to come out of the car. And I thought, so if I had a physical challenge or some kind of problem, I have to go into myself to bring out the alternate power. And that's what I found out, that what I lose physically, I make up mentally. From that day on, I put my mind on my mind, thinking about reading and studying to make up for my physical challenges. And since that day, everything I put my hands on always succeeds. So childhood, I had a very beautiful, inspiring childhood because all the challenges that I had rather inspired me than discouraged me. Okay, then I went to school, secondary school, finished well, and got to university, came out well. In secondary school, I was into songs, I was writing songs, I was performing, I was in the debating society. I had a lot of great time happening growing up, okay? And right now, my businesses are doing very well, and I have about 4 companies that generate multiples of millions, and I have staff all over the country, travel around the world, and nothing can be more inspiring than having to know that out of every challenge anyone has, you have the capacity inside of you to make sure that it comes out tops. As a child, I was the one trying to run away from task, actually. I remember each time we finished eating our food, and my brothers would go and wash their plates, but I would not wash my plates. And my dad and my mom would ask me, Ugochukwu, why don't you wash your plate? I said, my leg is bad. And my dad one day told me, listen, Ugo, what happened to your leg did not happen to your brain. You don't need legs to wash plates. So sit down and wash the plate. So it was really interesting, period of my life. And I was the one trying to run away from those things that can make me stronger, because I was much more focused on my situation than focused on my capabilities to do something, So it was interesting. One of the things that I know that have helped me to become successful is believing that first, your success, that's the most important thing. And when you believe that, then you need to have a vision for your life. You see, if I believe I'm a successful person and I don't have a vision for my life, that belief would turn to an illusion, okay? And the question that I ask people all the time, when people tell me anything about whatever it is they believe in or whatever it is they're doing, the question I ask them is to define that thing for me. For example, when I was asking questions about vision, everything I've ever heard about vision is that vision is a futuristic phenomenon. It's something in the future, what you're looking forward to be in the future. And I found out that this future thing has a way of postponing someone's reality at the moment. So my conception of vision is this: vision is not what you want to be in the future. Vision is not what you're looking forward to become. Vision is what you are now by reason of what you are seeing. Vision is what you are now by reason of what you're seeing. In other words, anything you see that you call vision that doesn't affect your reality today, that doesn't make you wake up today, that doesn't make you stand up and dress well today, that doesn't make you go out and read a book today, is an illusion. And this thing is what has kept a lot of people from being successful, because they see vision in the future rather than in the now. Okay, so I give you an example. If you say that vision is what you want to be in the future, what it means is you are waiting for that future before you can act today. But if you see vision as what you are today, it means that you're acting today based on what you see. And when you act today based on what you see, it will produce that which you want to see in the future. So what has helped me become successful is my way of redefining my reality that enables me to act now to produce the things I want in the future. My motivation is to show mankind that every human being is built beyond any challenge. That whatever is your challenge right now, whatever it is you're complaining about right now, you are built stronger than that. I have enough reason to beg. I mean, I was born in 1973, and I have polio about a year after that, and I'm 43 this year, so I have enough reason to be poor. If you see me on the street begging on crutches, you have some justification for that. But see, there are good reasons to be poor, but there's no justifiable reason to be poor. Okay, so what my motivation is to demonstrate to myself, and by extension to mankind, that every person that is born as a human being has the capacity to outgrow, outlive, out-challenge whatever circumstances that they have. And I am a typical example. So I am actually a sign of strength, not a sign of weakness. Sometimes people see me on my crutches, they have like this sympathetic, gesture like, hey, yeah, sorry. But I'm sorry for them, because they don't have understanding that I'm built with the capacity to surmount any challenge that I've been through. Do you understand that? Okay, so basically that's what it is. Let's define luck. Luck are the possibilities you created for yourself. Yes, I'm lucky because I created the possibilities. So, but if it's luck, it's in terms of chance event that you don't have control over your life, then I'm not lucky. All right. So luck are the possibilities that you created. For example, this interview right now, and came out of the fact that you've seen the things I have done. Does it make sense? Now, so luck, yes, I am lucky because I created the possibilities that brought the luck. But if it's luck is you sitting down and not doing anything, and someone shows up in your life to help you become better, then that's not luck then.
We all have stories to share.
I was born and we didn't have money.
In my own case, my first sandals was when I was in class 2.
Hard work is the only thing that you have control of in terms of the dividend or the results that will come out of it.
Same questions, but different responses.
Sometimes people will say, oh, you are lucky.
I'm lucky.
Don't believe in luck.
I can also say my hard work put me through.
I'm lucky because I work.
Listen to true life stories with experiences that will inspire you on My Story every Thursday at 9:30 a.m. on AIT Abuja. For sponsorship or advert placement, contact the producer on 0806 004 2843.
Alongside Timmy.
Just so no be lies, it's Zima Paul. They call me a fake. Based on logistics, man. This is my story.
This is my story.
This is my story. This is my story.
This is my story.
Early at 11, I could go to the market, shop, come home. I cook for the whole family, a family of 10 at that tender age.
Sometimes I have to go selling akara to make some little money, or to be given some few of those akara as part of the payment.
From JS3 to XS3, I was working in the market in Warri. In a particular market called Besu Market, I was pushing wheelbarrow and truck. Then as a student.
Some people may never have the privilege of realizing the capacity that they have on the inside. So even when they are in a beautiful childhood, and they don't realize their capacity, they will still end up having a miserable life. So when you say difficult childhood, it doesn't necessarily mean that your parents are poor, they didn't have anybody to help you. Because if you know the capacity you are born with as a human being, the capacity to learn, the capacity to make choices, and you are born in a very poor family, you can use that capacity to turn it around. But if you're born in a wealthy family and you don't realize that capacity, you can still be uselessly and hopeless, miserable amongst and midst of wealth. So difficult childhood in this context cannot stop you from being successful. As far as you know the capacity you're born with, then the childhood becomes the circumstances that you deal with based on your capacity. But if you don't realize the power that you have to create, to change your realities, then difficult childhood becomes the fact that whether you're born in a rich family or in a poor family, so either of them can be difficult because you don't know what it is you have that can change the situations around. If I have the opportunity to relive my childhood or teen years again, I would do some things differently. I would take study more seriously. I will begin to be conscious of my goals earlier. I will begin to take my plans for my life earlier. I will deliberately design a better life. And then now that I know that I have the capacity to achieve anything. So if I have the opportunity again, yes, I would design a more grandiose, majestic lifestyle. I will believe more that anything I want is possible. I will listen more to wise counsel. I will spend more time developing my mind even deeper and bigger. Yes, I will. That's what I would do differently. I believe the role of government is directly dependent on the role of the citizens of the country, because the government comes from the people. So if the people of a country do not look out for one another as individuals, if the people of a country do not believe they can contribute to the society, then the government can't do anything outside what the people can do. So I have this understanding that, a lot of people look up to the government as if it's some alien, some superstars who came from somewhere who's going to change the life of people. And we forget that this government are us. So what should the government do? First is, everybody listening right now, to know that you are first the government that will change your reality before you can expect it from the government that would change your world. Parenting. Most fathers and mothers are not parents. They're just fathers and mothers. Parenting is an art. You have to learn how to look after someone's life. Most people who are parents today got there by accident. They're just a young man, a young woman who had an emotional outburst, came together, then somebody shows up with children. They never really were prepared to guide another life. So parenting is something we have to learn. It's an art of, first of all, determining what your goal is for your life, and then be able to fashion the goal for the young person God has given to you to take care of. So most fathers and mothers are not qualified to have parents. But in the actual sense, if you are a parent, your role is to basically help to guide that particular offspring of yours and show him a path and prepare him with the discipline that will allow him and enable him to reach a predetermined outcome. And I also think that most times, most parents think they own the child. We are first stewards, guardians to help this young child to blossom beyond what we can do. So parenting is an art that needs to be learned by fathers and mothers. Part of the secret of my success is my understanding of wealth. Okay, the concept of wealth is basically about realizing that you have the virtues, you have the capacity to turn anything that is intangible to tangible things. Okay, so my success came from the fact that I know that everything I need to be successful has been on the inside of me. Okay, an example of wealth is love for mankind, kindness to mankind, integrity, honesty, excellency. You see, everybody has this capacity, but most people have not developed these capacities to become service to mankind. For example, if I realize that I can own any company I want, I don't have to be competent in a particular area to own a company. I'll give you an example. If I have the love for mankind to be healthy in terms of healthcare, that love can drive me to go and read medicine so I can become a doctor. You see, the virtue of love for mankind to be healthy, nobody pays you for that. But when you go to school to transform that virtue into a medical practice, you get paid for the medical practice. You understand what I'm saying? So wealth is the things you're given as a human being that's meant to help mankind. But those virtues are raw, but they need to be developed to become services. So when I realized that, I already have the raw material, okay? I love to teach, but I have to learn how to teach. I love to do researches. I love to find out mysteries. So when I began to read, go to school, read about accounting and study about philosophies, I was transforming my virtues of the curiosity of about things into a consulting services. So I'm being paid for consulting services that came out of the virtue of curiosity. Does it make sense? That's one. The second one, if you have the virtue for mankind to be healthy and you read medicine, you're going to become a competent medical doctor. But you cannot be wealthy as well in a big way if you stay on competence. And I give it this way. By competence, you can duplicate results. But from leadership, you can multiply results. So how did I become this successful? I focus more on leadership. What does it mean? I look at people, I see what they can do and become. So I pour myself into them and help them realize their potentials. And because they are tied to me economically, whatever they become affects my life. For example, if I decide to float a hospital today, I don't have to be a medical doctor to own a hospital. I just float a hospital. I can have 51% shares of that hospital and employ medical doctors to do the competent job and employ accountants to manage the money, and I pay both of them from that particular outcome. So wealth creation, for which I have become so comfortable with, has to do with you realizing that you are born with the capacity to be anything you want, but you need the discipline of education to transform those virtues into services for mankind. And that's how I was able to create all the companies that I have, and I've not even started yet because so many things need to be done. Working with these organizations came out of the fact that I had a mentor who believed in what I was capable of doing more than I believed in myself. My mentors has always stood in the gap between what I think about myself and what they see in myself. So my mentors gave me the platforms that enabled me to achieve what I was not qualified for, why they were qualifying me for it. And when I got into these companies, the blue chip companies, I realized that there's actually no big company in the world. There's only big minds. And if your mind is big, everything you do is going to take the shape of your mind. So how I was able to get this far was that I realized that I'm no longer limited by the physical things that are around me, but I'm actually inspired by the power that I have inside of me to think beyond my circumstances. That's how I was able to get to where I am today. To every human being, regardless of the circumstances you were born, you're always bigger and better when you realize that you have the power to be anything. And now I am hugely successful in the things that has to do with creating wealth and multiplying, investments in different parts of the world, okay? And I'm sure that if you believe that you can and have the capacity, you can always be anything that you really want. And this is my story.
And that's it on My Story Today. For your comments and suggestions, please send a text or WhatsApp message to 0806 004 2843. Thank you for staying tuned.